with mass registration exercise in the Eastern region as it revises protocols and guidelines for the conduct of the Ghana card registration. Also, the Ghana Medical Association are demanding prompt and timely release of funds to COVID-19 emergency facilities, plus immediate payment of NHIS arrears to help hospitals provide basic logistics to help fight the pandemic. And there is a water shortage at a time we are required to wash our hands under running water. We'll hear from the Ghana Water Company, plus checks on how the President's directive is being adhered to.
And in business, Bank of Ghana will next Monday announce some measures to help mitigate the impact of the coronavirus on the economy.
And later in sports, Asante Kotoko to continue training despite the suspension of the Ghana Premier League.
And later, I'll tell you all about how Ghana's locally brewed gin, Akpeteshi, has become a hot commodity at Agbogloshi market as it replaces hand sanitizers among traders.
Akpeteshi, and I'm the one. Now, I go back to them saying, no, I hang out on better once. But yeah, you still for a day and a half, so the next day.
Well, Evans will tell us about how much he's had to buy sanitizers these days. We have all that and more here on NewsNite. Please join us with your thoughts and comments via WhatsApp is 0244-340-4379. I am Emefa, Apawu.
And my name is Evans Mensah. NewsNite is always brought to you by Puma Energy, cash-free convenience.
And tonight, students of the University of Ghana have been asked by school authorities to stay behind, get examined and cleared by the school's health services before they leave for home, following an announcement of a closure effective today. Similar measures have also been announced at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, as well as the University of Cape Coast hours, after President Akufo-Addo announced suspension of all academic activities over the coronavirus fears. We have details of press statements by the school shortly, but first, Maxwell Agwagba visited the University of Ghana campus earlier and reports that students, sellers and taxi drivers are taking precautionary measures against the positive COVID-19 cases recorded here.
The first sign of what appears to be a partial lockdown can be seen at the University of Ghana entrance, specifically the taxi rank, where we found a lot of taxi drivers sitting idle. Many of them we interacted with says they are beginning to feel the impact of the closure of this university over fears of COVID-19.
The virus is in town and we need to put in measures in place to curb it. So for now it's a cool move, but it's going to affect our studies. For sure there is panic. You can't know if you've had it for now or not. You can't tell. So there's a bit of panic and all that. I think some people have started going home and all that. So yeah, there is panic.
The NNB1, the NNB2 and NNB3 are among some of the busiest lecture halls here on the University of Ghana campus. For a lot of courses in the humanities, they usually take place here. So on Mondays, it's busy with students getting into the lecture halls, for their various classes. But that is absent today. If you come here, it is deserted. The only people you would find here are University of Ghana members of staff who provide essential service. This situation mirrors what is happening across the University of Ghana campus and other satellite campus of the university.
Right now, you can't receive any visitors from outside. Okay. So we are told to be in our rooms all the time. Like no one can come from outside the hall, inside the hall. You can't have a visitor right now.
Okay. At the international student hall?
Yeah, at the international.
Okay. But other halls, visitors can?
Yeah, that one I'm not sure, but I think okay, because of how contagious the disease is. Well, I agree with them, especially the level 400s, because we will be graduating very soon, and most of us are doing our project work, so it would affect us. Okay. But we just pray that they extend the time for us so that we'll be able to finish.
Okay.
People are panicking. You see people with some rubber bags and other things all around their face. A guy just passed, you see that there was a hanky covered the face. So I think the panic is there. Even in my hall, people are not really happy about it. They are just going home.
The University of Ghana Night Market. It is a one-stop shop for anything, groceries and cooked food. For students who live on the other side of campus, This is where they usually get anything that they want. But it appears that business has slowed down here today after the announcement by the Vice Chancellor and the President suspending lectures on all university campuses. What is striking here, however, is how all the market women here are taking precautions against COVID-19.
Our food first, we are using bowl. Now we stop the bowl. We are using the takeaway plates and the spoon. So when you give me money, safe, I'll tell you to use this thing to wash your hands. The sanitizer to wash your hands.
I'm using the hand sanitizer, and once all I do go wash my hands. Anytime I get into contact with people, I just try to go wash my hands. It depends on how much contact I came into with people. So after that, I just use this hand sanitizer here. Just rub it on my hands, and when I feel I've had too much contact with people and with money, then I just go to the tap, wash my hands.
President Akufo-Addo in his address yesterday said we are not in normal times. True, indeed, if we were in normal times, you would have found children here at the University of Ghana Basic School playing on the school field during break time. You would have perhaps also seen parents driving to the University of Ghana Basic School campus to drop their children. But all of that is non-existent today as the university community goes into what you would want to describe as a partial lockdown.
That's Maxwell Agwagba's report when he went to campus today. He joined us in the studio. So after this visit to the university, there have been a lot of development. We have a statement from the various universities announcing the immediate shutdown. Let's start with the University of Ghana.
Exactly. We have a statement signed by the registrar of the university, and it says the university has been closed with effect from Monday, 16th March 2020 until further notice. The statement says this is in compliance with the directive by the President of the Republic that all universities should be closed. We are told that the university will operate as it does when there is no teaching, mindful of all the directives given by the President and University of Ghana Emergency Response Team regarding preventive measures. We also told that heads of units are expected to lead this. The statement further states that any member of the community who shows any symptoms of the common cold is advised to call for assistance. Students should stay behind to be examined and cleared by University of Ghana Health Services before they can leave campus. And there's some contacts here, University of Ghana Hospital, 059-555-1971, and then they give us the national COVID-19 hotline too. International students will be contacted, we are told, separately by the International Programs Office.
Okay, well, so the same goes also for the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. What did it also say? Are they supposed to leave immediately or what?
Exactly. Students are to leave campus from today, Monday, March 16 to Saturday, March 21, 2020 by 5 o'clock p.m. Students are to note that it is mandatory for them to leave campus as indicated. Residential halls would be under a lockdown after the set period has expired. And then international students are, however, allowed to stay until further notice. Staff and students are advised to follow the protocols as established by the Ministry of Health or Ghana Health Service. And the university committee, we are told, will be updated of any future development.
Thank you very much, Maxwell Agwagba. We understand there's a development at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. We'll head there shortly. But let's quickly go to the University of Cape Coast, where my colleague Richard Kujonyako is also standing by. We also know, Richard, that even though the school has been closed down, students can stay up to the 21st of March. Tell us more about it. Hello, Richard. It doesn't look like Richard Kujonyako can hear us. Richard, we've lost Richard Kujonyako, but Evans, I was telling you about the developments at Kolebu.
There's so many developments on this coronavirus story. There's one that's just coming in from the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, biggest referral facility. My colleague, head of the help desk, Fred Smith, is on the telephone line with us right now with details of this. Fred, what do we know?
Well, we know Kolebu has just issued a statement in response to the measures announced by the president. It says that the hospital has taken the measures following the directive by the president for social distancing to forestall the potential spread of COVID-19. And the first point is that the hospital has decided to suspend all elective surgical cases. Only emergency surgical cases will now be taken care of. Point 2 says the appointment system of the hospital shall be enforced, and patients are advised that they should only come to the OPD when it is really very necessary for them to report for care. Point 3 says the hospital has also instituted pre-triage monitoring of patients coming to the various outpatient departments. All rotations or internships of students have been suspended until further notice. Point 5 says various departmental morning meetings and all other workshops or conferences are equally suspended sine die. Visits by patients' relatives to the hospital have been restricted to only 2 visitors while the patient is on admission. In the case of child health, only the parent or guardian are permitted to visit, and all visitors shall be screened. Staff and visitors to the hospital are all encouraged to observe basic safety protocols, which include hand washing with soap and running water, cover your mouth and nose with a flexed elbow or tissue when sneezing or coughing, and avoid close contact with infected persons, among others. And it says that these measures are being implemented with immediate effect to minimize overcrowding at the outpatient department for the safety of patients and staff. We therefore urge all to cooperate with us for the successful implementation. And this is a statement signed by Dr. Daniel Asare. He's the Chief Executive Officer for the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Evans.
Fred, thank you very much. If you're just joining us, essential information on the this developing story relating to the coronavirus pandemic, and as it affects us. We know there are 6 cases. We checked with the Information Minister a short while ago, and he says they don't have an update yet, but contact tracing is still happening. But if you have anything to do with the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, as Fred Smith just announced, pay attention to what Kolebu is saying tonight in the statement. All elective surgeries have been suspended immediately. Only surgical cases will now be taken care of. The appointment system of the hospital shall be enforced, and patients are advised that they should only come to the OPD when it is really very necessary for them to report for care. Please take note of these. Very important. The hospital has also instituted a triage monitoring of patients coming to the various outpatient departments. Now, again, all rotations and internships of students have also been suspended until further notice. Various departmental morning meetings and all other workshops, conferences are equally also suspended indefinitely. Now, this has to do also with patients and relatives, right? Kolebu is saying tonight that visits by patients' relatives to the hospital have been restricted to only 2 visitors while the patient is on admission. Please take note of this. Patients to Kolebu Teaching Hospital as of tonight has been restricted to only 2 visitors while the patient is on admission. If you show up there more than 2, you'll be turned away, and they're enforcing this with the help of the police as well on the premises of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. In the case of child health, only the parent guardian are permitted to visit, and all visitors must be screened. So pay attention to that. You will be required to screen, and it's important. Temperature will be taken. If you go above the threshold, they would look at deeper. Possible testing for corona might even happen, we were told last week by the Deputy Health Minister. Now, Kolebu is also saying tonight, staff and visitors to the hospital are all encouraged to observe the basic safety protocols, which include hand washing with soap and the running water, cover your mouth and nose with a flexed elbow or tissue when sneezing or coughing, and avoid close contact with infected persons, among others. I'll be sharing with you more of the tips to stay safe tonight.
Well, there's a development in Parliament. We know that there's an issue of the emergency legislation to back the directives put out by the President yesterday. Correspondent Joseph Opoku-Gakpo joins us on the line. Update us on what the situation is regarding this emergency legislation.
So, Emefa, we've been getting more details from the President's meeting earlier today. The Deputy Majority Chief Whip in Parliament, Matthew Nindam, is emphatic that is a legislation that would actually be arriving tomorrow. One thing that they are still trying to clarify before close of day today before it's brought to the House tomorrow is who exactly will be shepherding this particular legislation. Till date, even following the meeting with the President, it's unclear whether the Minister for Health or the Minister for National Security, because this is more of a national security issue, or the Attorney General will be the individual who will be laying the documents on the floor and shepherd its approval. That needs to be cleared up in the course of the day today before it eventually gets to Parliament tomorrow. But then the Deputy Majority Leader again tells us that in the meeting with the President earlier today, it was agreed that once that legislation gets to the floor of the House tomorrow, they've agreed that they are giving themselves 24 hours within which to go ahead with the necessary referral to the appropriate committees, the debate at the level of the committee, the report of the committee back to the floor in order for MPs to amend whatever needs to be amended in it and get that document approved. In the meeting today, it was agreed that within 24 hours, the House would go ahead and do that and get that legislation out. And he again tells us that as to whether Parliament will continue sitting or that proceedings will be suspended, the agreement in that meeting was that when the President indicated that there shouldn't be any congregation more than 25, Parliament was exempted. And so the House will continue sitting and doing business with regards to that legislation and any other possible assignment.
Interesting. And what's the reaction of those in Parliament, especially the minority, to this directive that as for Parliament, they can sit when indeed there's a directive that there should be no public gatherings like that?
Well, for those on the minority side, they felt that we should have seen a situation where those both, with regards to what proceedings are happening, maybe electronically or other alternative forms of congregation could have been applied. For example, the MP for Boku Central, Mahama Yarega, says the President's directive is something that Parliament as an institution should be seen to be following up on and be working with. And so he felt that the House should possibly be suspending sitting to protect themselves and even their constituents who, if they are infected one way or the other, they could go back and probably infect them. Because one of the major issues that come up has been that a lot of members of Parliament and ministers who are MPs have been in and out of the country over the last 2 to 3 weeks into places like South Korea, where there are cases, to places like UK, and even to places like Norway, hence the need to protect all members of Parliament.
Thank you very much, Joseph Opoku Gakpo. Now, Evans, you were
I have some more bad news for you, unfortunately, tonight. It's just as the country is trying to deal with this corona outbreak. The Ghana Water Company, we know water is such an essential commodity in the fight against the spread of the virus, especially at the time when hand sanitizers are disappeared off the market. If you find it, you can't buy. It's just outrageously expensive right now. For most poor folks, the hand sanitizers, small bottles, is what they're going to rely on, and water, really, fundamentally water. But the Ghana Water Company has issued a statement tonight announcing that they are experiencing some, I'm quoting, some challenges with water supply in Accra and most cities during this high demand period. They themselves acknowledge that water is in high demand because of coronavirus, but they say there's a challenge there. They're rationing water. We can speak to the communications manager for Ghana Water Company, Mr. Stanley Mate, who is joining us on the telephone line right now. Stanley, what's the problem?
Yes. Hi. Good evening, Evans. Yes, just like you said in your preamble, that now water has become an essential commodity in this dying period. So we and Ghana Water Company Limited is doing everything possible so that we can have water flow through the taps into people's homes. But what we are saying that in the event where you do not have water flow 24/7, then you may have to increase your storage whilst water is flowing, so that you wouldn't be found wanting at some point in time. And then we're also saying that because you should be washing your hands under running water, we're saying that people should use improvised receptacles like the Veronica bucket. And the Veronica bucket is the bucket fitted with taps that are being used in basic schools now. So we can also do that so that where we do not have the tap flowing, then we can resort to the Veronica bucket, and then we dispose of the dirty water immediately after. So we want to assure the general public that we are on top of the situation, and we are also advising that because of the current situation, we would wish that people who resort to treated water for watering of lawns and for washing of vehicles, especially the commercial ones, and then other users of water that may not be too necessary at this juncture, to desist from that so that we can have enough water flow into people's stuffs. So that
let me just quickly repeat that. If you are in a habit of wasting water, Ghana Water Company is telling you tonight, stop it. Don't use water now to wash your vehicle and water your lawn and just for recreational purposes. Exactly. Because we are in a dire situation. People needed to wash their hands to stay safe and avoid transmitting the disease and also catching on to it in these dire times. But I need to ask you, Stanley, so are you putting in place alternative means of getting water to people's homes at all?
Yes, our fleet of tankers are also on standby, and especially to provide water to essential service providers like the hospitals especially. Now the schools are down, but we also know that those preparing for their WASI exams and then the other exams are in school. So our tankers are also on standby to provide water to these schools and hospitals, so that we'll also curb the spread of the virus.
Now, in your statement, you say the challenge is going to affect supply to Accra and most cities during this high demand. When you say most cities, can you narrow it down, be specific, so people know?
No, we are saying that we realize that some cities do not have adequate flow, like the western region, for instance, and like Takoradi, secondary Takoradi, for instance. We do not have enough raw water in that area, so we are forced to ration water, and we are not getting enough raw water because of issues of galamsey. So there's a very huge gap between demand and supply. As a result, we are rationing water in that area. We are managing the water distribution in that area, and so we expect that those who live in secondary Takoradi will store more water whilst water is flowing.
Okay, so just to be specific, Accra, Takoradi, secondary, where else?
Yes. These are the in Accra, the western part of Accra, and then the Tema area. Teshinwa areas are also kind of affected because we are managing the water distribution in these areas. So we expect that those of us who live within these enclaves will actually manage the little water in the system.
Okay, so apart from these areas in Accra, you say Accra western Accra, you said?
Yes.
Okay, where is that exactly? Could you mention a few of the communities there so people who are listening to us can prepare?
Soman, Kolegono, Mamprobi. Most areas in Dansoman, Mamprobi get 24/7 flow of water. Okay, but let's say Awoshi and those areas, Abekala Pass and beyond Abekala Pass, sometimes they do not get 24/7 flow of water. So we are saying that if you live in an area where you do not get water 24/7, then please manage the little water that counts. But make sure you increase your storage so that there wouldn't be any eventuality.
Okay, so you said Tema is also affected?
Yes, because we are also managing the distribution in that area, especially because the desal plant is out of order at the moment. It's not functioning at the moment. We are hoping that within the next few days, the desal will come on board, then we can have more water in that area. So the Ghana Water Company Limited has been supporting the operators of the desal so that we can get the desal back on board as early as practicable. Then we can have more water in the system. But currently, we are managing the distribution also in Teshin, Nongwa, and surrounding communities, including Tema.
Okay, so Greater Accra, Secondary Takoradi, these are the areas. These are the exclusive. These are the areas. Kumasi is not having a challenge.
No.
Okay.
Over the weekend, there was an accident where there was some spillage of agrochemicals into the river that serves Mampon areas in the Ashanti region. Unfortunately for us, we've been able to spill out the affected water. So now we have very good water and we have started production. So Ashanti region currently is safe and it's okay.
How long do you think this will go on for?
Oh, for now, we are still monitoring the system. For instance, tomorrow the sector minister and her deputies, including management of GWCL, will be out and about through the cities to be monitoring the hospitals and then some essential service providers, so that we will ascertain the situation in the area and make sure that the challenge is rectified.
Safe to say.
Tomorrow, the whole of last week they were in town just like that. This week we are continuing, and tomorrow they'll be in all the hospitals throughout the city. And then we've also asked that the regional ministers and then our regional chief managers also visit the major clinics in all the regions to ascertain the situation. And then if there's any problem that has to be solved, we make sure that those ones are solved.
I mean, put it simply, Ghana Water Company as of today cannot tell when normal supply of water will be restored.
No, we have normal. We have a normal situation.
I mean the rationing you talked about. Yes, you don't know when that will be dealt with.
With the situation, we are realizing that people now resort to tap water more than hitherto they were using. So the challenge is a bit the system is a bit unbalanced. So we are looking into the system, monitoring the system, and to make sure that we normalize the situation.
Okay, but you don't know when that
it's not dying at the moment. But we want consumers to report to us immediately they realize that they are not having water. They shouldn't wait for
Stanley, I get all that, but I mean, just people need to plan, okay? So if we can give them a time frame within which you're hoping that the problem will be rectified so people can get regular supply, those who are going to be affected, do you have any timelines at all? Now we don't know.
Evans, let me explain this. Now, the treatment plants that serve, for instance, Greater Accra are all functioning effectively. For instance, Mom is working at full capacity, so is Wager. It is only the desal that is down. We are hoping that the desal plant should come on board maybe in a day or two from now, so that at least all the treatment plants will be functioning. So what we are realizing is that because of pressure on water now, okay, the situation or the system is kind of unbalanced. So we are just monitoring the system and doing everything to push in more water. And we are hoping that when the desal plant comes on board, the situation will be better than before. But to say it's not normal, that is what I don't want us to use that word, because all the treatment plants are functioning, except that because of the pressures on the water.
Okay. So what you're saying, because I was coming to ask you, what really is accounting for this challenge you're facing? What is it? Just narrow it down for me. Is it that you run out of water? What is it?
One, or the major problem is the dry season. The dry season is kind of severe, and during the dry season, you know that a lot more people resort to the use of water. Now, because of this COVID-19 pandemic, it's like people are also using more water than hitherto they were using. So it's like there's more use for treated water than before, and obviously it's going to affect the system, because we have maximum production for the cities, and if demand goes above volumes that we could supply, then it makes the system unbalanced, and we need to work at managing it.
Thank you very much. Stanley Mate is the communications manager. Listen, that is our reality as of tonight. Water is going to be rationed. He's mentioned the areas. It's difficult, I know, but you can only manage it. They've already look at the statement. They're talking about things we should do. Stop wasting water is one. It says dry season is a main factor, and also there's increased pressure because of coronavirus. I guess you make the point. People are using water now, which is a good thing. Which is that people are
really washing their hands, etc. But don't waste it.
Don't waste it, because now it's going to be rationing.
And store it.
Store as many as you can. Store as much as you can. And don't use it to water your lawn, wash your car, etc., etc.
They're talking to you.
Well, I use a mechanized borehole.
Okay.
So I don't rely on the system. So I take it from the ground directly.
I'll bring a tanker.
But of course, this is a time to really come together and share. Those who have, that's what happens anywhere else where communities come together. Those who have share. If you have water, what we don't want to see people now hiking the price of buckets of water.
Too.
Right?
Just like they've done with sanitizers.
People quickly then go into hiking the price and then beginning to now impose extortionate prices on gallons of water for people to buy. Please do not do that. This is the time to come together as a people and help one another.
Now that we're rationing water, one institution that we are banging almost all our hopes on is now the healthcare providers, especially the doctors. Let's speak to Dr. Justice Yankson in the wake of this directive put out by the president yesterday. They've issued a statement. Our concern now, Dr. Justice Yankson, is your preparedness as doctors, readiness in terms of logistics and resources. What's the situation there?
Well, as you may have seen in our release, we spoke extensively about the need for scaling up of the distribution and availability of some of the essential logistics and equipment like the PPEs that we always speak about. So in that breath, we are asking that basically there should be equitable distribution across the country at all levels. You know, we have the higher national level, the region, the district, and the facility level. The reason is that we have taken a presumptive position that, one, the disease is here with us, which we all know, but most importantly, because of the contact tracing and all that is happening, the presumptive position is that it may be in the community. So for which reason, it could be anywhere. For example, of the 6 cases, one popped up in Obuasi, far away from Accra. It could have happened anywhere in Ghana. So at this point, we are saying that the frontline health workers are very important in this whole agenda. They need to be well prepared. They need to be well resourced in terms of their safety and the logistics available to them. And that is what we are calling for to happen, i.e. ensure that there is equitable and adequate supplies at all the levels of the healthcare delivery system.
Now, in times like this also, I see in your statement that you're asking for a prompt and timely release of funds to the COVID-19 emergency operation centers, and that's not all. You're also asking the NHIA to settle all its indebtedness to health facilities to help them provide some of the needed logistics at the facility levels. Is that something that you're hoping will be done in the immediate?
Yes. I mean, the president announced to the whole nation and the world at large that the country has earmarked $100 million to combat this COVID-19 pandemic. As we speak, we have cases here in this country. We know that sometimes there are some bureaucratic processes you need to go through for release of funds to happen. Now, at this point in time, we are all praying and hoping that we don't get more cases. But in the unfortunate or unlikely event that we get a lot more cases, and what it means is that our resources will be stretched. Now, some of these protective equipment like the PPEs and all the essential logistics we speak about here are not produced in this country. What it will mean is that we need to procure them. For which reason, if funds are not readily available, then the procurement processes could delay and we could have situations where health professionals will be left with virtually nothing to work with. The truth is that health insurance is not the primary focus at this point, but we know that there is this indebtedness that if it is paid, it will also help the facility to also procure some of the essential logistics at this current point in time. And we think that if we have the right resources in their right quantities and at the right time, it will help us in this fight against COVID-19.
We're grateful. And that's Dr. Justice Yankson. He's the General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association. In times like these, we pray that all goes well so that everything we need will be made available.
I mean, there's something I need to emphasize. The times like this, we all need to come together.
Yeah.
I mean, the pharmacies and shops that we know have hiked prices of hand sanitizer, shame on you. Shame on you. Hiking prices of sanitizers, hoarding them so you can. I went into a shop over the weekend, hand sanitizer. And when I went to the shop, the shop attendant was just writing the new prices
yeah,
for the small bottle of hand sanitizer. and the
Which
new
was
price
how
was
much
45 cedis. And I asked, so how much were you selling it yesterday? He said 16 cedis. Then there were 6 on the table. By the time I was there, 4 additional people walked in. I grabbed 3, and everybody else was looking for that same thing. It got finished. The 2 other people who didn't get it were upset. But a day later, a friend of mine also sent me a picture of the same hand sanitizer. I think it's called Diva, that I bought for 45 cedis. That was actually being sold
now
for
80.
16. It's now 80 cedis. Anybody doing that is just not helping the situation.
And if supply is high, what do you expect?
No, I mean it's wrong.
Demand is high.
It's wrong. It's wrong. This is not when people. This is life and death. People are possibly going to be infected, and you think you're doing this, but it could get right into your home.
Exactly.
I mean, people
Once
must
your
know.
neighbor gets it,
people must know that this is wrong, and I'm hoping that somehow the state will get involved. I mean, this astronomical prices people put, the state should get involved and arrest people. I don't know what charge you'll slap them with, but it's just wrong. I mean, we need to come together. We've been talking about water. Yeah. I mean, when I used to stay in Adabraka, this is the time that we should carry buckets to go and fetch water at the closest place. People again will start putting astronomical prices on a bucket or a gallon of water. Don't do that. Just come together. We should come together as a people, help each other through this difficult time. The more we do that, the more we struggle, and then this spreads.
No wonder traders in Agbogloshi are turning to Akpeteshi as hand sanitizers.
Akpeteshi, and I'm in the one over. Now, who did go back to them say no? I hang out on better once. But me is in the foyer, so the next day.
Let's do business now, and George Riafe joins us with the latest from the world of business. I'm sure COVID-19 is dominating the headlines in business.
Definitely, Emefa. And the Bank of Ghana has been talking about some interventions that it will announce on Monday to help mitigate the impact of this pandemic on the financial sector. I'll be waiting to hear. We're giving you some snippets of what should you expect on that day. And also, the airline operators have been given some assurance that they are going to comply with the recent travel directive that was issued by the government. The business news on NewsNite is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office essentials, and First National Bank. We are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank. How can we help you? And it has been 25 years of providing the platform to support and grow those budding entrepreneurs out there.
My family loves visiting me. Because I've got the super reliable and super fast 4G plus MTN Turbonet. And with this super fast MTN Turbonet, it's non-stop fun and entertainment for the whole family at my house. Wow, I finally
Grandma, this is so amazing. Connect your home and entertain your family at the speed of yellow. Get an MTN Turbonet today and stay connected to the things that matter most. Only on Ghana's fastest network. Dial *5057# to purchase an internet bundle today. We day for you everywhere you go.
Mr. Barr has big dreams for his business, Barr & Co. Limited, and his family, making them a reality meant long drives and queues. He's lost precious time struggling to pay his suppliers in China, Turkey, India, and other parts of the world. With the First National Bank global payment via our online banking enterprise, he now pays for all that in the convenience of his home or office, giving him time to focus on family and growing his business. Use our online banking enterprise to access Forex when you need it. It takes a bank that does more to help your family. So who's helping yours? First National Bank. How can we help you?
We know it's important to create a productive and supportive working environment by investing in your employees' health. With a leading international track record, Apex Health Insurance is regulated and licensed by the National Health Insurance Authority to provide medical insurance services to institutional clients, families, and individuals. Apex Student Package and International Medical Solutions are all here to cushion you. Visit Apex Health Insurance Office at Zion House, Boundary Road, Shiashi or call
0501-683-914
or 0232 000 015. In Kumasi, we are located opposite Prempeh College, Sofo Line, and in Takrady, Apex Health, your preferred health insurer.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Welcome back to Business on NewsNite. Now, the Bank of Ghana says it would announce measures that would help mitigate the impact of the coronavirus on the financial sector as well as the economy next Monday. Now, this was captured in the statement issued by the regulator a while ago. I went through this and I have a report for you. The Bank of Ghana, in a statement, noted that the announcement will be made next Wednesday after the Monetary Policy Committee meeting, which is expected to begin this Wednesday and end on Friday, March 20. The Bank of Ghana noted that as a regulator, it is committed to taking measures that will ensure that financial and economic stability is not affected in any way by this pandemic. The announcement is expected to come at a time that the economy is projected to lose about $750 million as revenues from crude oil due to the recent sharp decline in oil prices on the global market. The recent sharp appreciation of the Ghana cedi has also slowed significantly due to the decision by some offshore investors to reduce their holdings in our bonds and get into gold because of how the coronavirus has brought about some global uncertainty. The central bank, in the same statement, also challenged all banks, savings and loans and microfinance, as well as other financial institutions to ensure that all its electronic channels are fully functional at all times, as well as this ATM doesn't run out of cash. It, however, strongly advised the public to also refrain from panic withdrawals. The regulator added that it will continue to monitor development in relation to the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and take necessary measures and interventions to mitigate the economic impact of the current situation to ensure that financial and economic stability is achieved. Now, in a related development, the Ghana Interbank Payment and Settlement System is asking businesses to explore electronic channels at these times to actually get their monies and carry out the necessary transactions. Achihesi is Chief Executive of the Ghana Interbank Payment and Settlement System.
I think it's about time we all embrace remote digitized form of payments. I'm talking specifically about individuals now embracing internet banking apps, mobile banking apps, and using their USSDs. These are remote means or channels that has been given by banks and mobile money companies to their customers, such that they can have access to their bank accounts and mobile money wallets. And most of these internet channels have been connected to the GIBS ACH Direct Credit platform. It's also being connected to the GIBS Instant Pay platform to effect interbank instant payments, and it's also being connected to the mobile money, the MMI, the mobile money interoperability platform, to enable individuals to effect payments from one bank account to another, or from a mobile wallet to another mobile wallet, or from a mobile wallet to a bank account. These sort of platforms and way channels is what one would encourage the banks, individuals, etc. to embrace henceforth.
Again, what advice will you give to the corporate, the businesses as well? I mean, in these times.
With the corporate, one advice I would ask corporate is exactly what I've said, that they should talk to their banks if they haven't already.
Achihesi is the Chief Executive of the Ghana Interbank Payment and Settlement System. Now, airline operators have begun talks with the Ministry of Aviation on the implementation of government-announced travel restrictions to fight the coronavirus. The meeting was held with all relevant stakeholders and regulators in the aviation sector to ensure that all the consensus directives are addressed. Addressing the meeting after meeting the Minister of Aviation, Joseph Kofiada, the said airlines representatives said they've agreed to cooperate with government.
The airline reps, they have agreed to cooperate with us to effectively address this matter. In our discussions with the airline reps, they asked for NOTAM, which we know is the effective directive that should come from the Civil Aviation Authority on all the arrangements that are required for them to comply with. Government has issued this travel notice. We have made various statements. The President has addressed the nation, but the NOTAM will effectively be the one that specifies how the airlines should comply with the directives of government. That is being issued as we speak.
Kofi Adda is the Minister for Aviation, and the Managing Director of Puma Energy Ghana, Henry Osei, has rejected claims that the petroleum price deregulation is not serving its purpose for which it was introduced. Now, following the recent increase in petroleum prices or delay in increasing the prices, there have been concerns about whether this policy is actually working. But speaking to Joy Business, said his outfit at a recent retail conference and awards organizer at Akosombo, Mr. says that Puma Energy and his outfit is actually committed to ensuring that they review prices when it actually matters.
The call for fuel price to be drastically reduced is as a result of the world market price. How justified this is, the entire market will realize when the window starts. What you ought to realize though is that beyond just the world market price, our fuel at the pump is influenced heavily by taxes. So there are several varying factors that affect fuel prices.
Price deregulation, is it really working, or for you, do you think there is a need for a review?
I am an ardent supporter and believer of price deregulation. I am an ardent believer of the market forces, and I believe that experience, competence, and efficiency should be allowed to drive. And that is what deregulation gives you. The efficiency and your operational excellence will differentiate you from the rest of the market. And that's what Puma stands for. So we operate a very efficient and robust system.
And that is the Managing Director of Puma Energy Ghana, Henry Osei, speaking to Joy Business at a retail and conference award that was held at Akosombo. And actually, Shell and Gold have all announced a reduction in their prices at the pumps, and it was quite a significant reduction. I'll be giving you more details on that one later. And that's all for business on NewsNite.
Your success, our passion.
So how the thing end? My God! So we video call like 2 minutes. Then now she say make I take over and meet them. But Charlie, as I hang up, we are Rexy, my data finish. Ooh. See, I roam I no get it back. So after they come look for another phone. Hey, my guy, hold up. You see why you for use Vodafone? I be all be the same data. Who tell you? Now with Vodafone, whether you get data or not, you go free use the Uber app with no data charges at all. Hey, this one. Oh yeah. Now Vodafone the Uber partner. So even if you get data where you use the Uber app, then they tell you anything. Where if you no get data safe, Charlie, you the free use the Uber app. Simple. No data matter bia. Where they be safe be say, as you they use the app, you the free get free ride. Where it come with some champion discount. You can now order your Uber ride at no data cost and stand a chance to enjoy free rides and amazing discounts. Switch to Vodafone today.
The future is exciting. Ready?
Hey, I say, mix the cement in correct proportional.
Hey, contractor.
Hey, Buccaneer, what's your soul?
Yeah, Malande. Sorry, I say. When you attend the year of return, Ankasa. Hey, contractor. A danya wasting year. Hey, what push mama me feeling too much?
Who project here? Me friend a gas them from top to down. If you are a gas them.
Hey, yes, solid pa.
Hey, you see gas them, man. And for soup, you know what do? On your quality, no question. Extra gas them cement to be a will cook a crab be. Over 5,000 plus communities. And a gas them, I donations. SCC schools, I built a clinic. No one packaging now. What's Shadara and environmentally friendly?
Never compromise on quality. Choose the value Gassam offers you always. Gassam, the nation builder.
Thanks for staying with us here on NewsNite. Let's quickly go through some of your messages that you sent in. Then Benedict will come in from the world of sports. Kofi Seidu says Professor Atefa should be called to order to stop the NIA registration exercise currently ongoing in the Eastern region. Is one issue that we're going to be touching on shortly. And Ajin Kutuku Evans is asking you, Evans, can we use the local alcohol, popularly known as akpeteshi, as hand sanitizers? Jake is asking.
Last week there was a press conference. Fred Smith covered it and came back and said the directive is that whatever you use must have at least 70% alcohol in it, but that's what actually does the trick. Akpeteshi, I'm told, has 100%. So it can't do the trick.
And are you able to, should you drink it as
No,
well?
no, of course not. I mean, that's one of those myths.
Just to clarify. And then Afote from Cape Coast says, parts of Cape Coast have not had water supply for some weeks and days now. The problem is very serious. And Atoklo in Adenta says, please remember that akpeteshi is a gin. It's therefore distilled and not brewed like beer or pito. So some education there. And this one also says, the government's National Digital Property Addressing System, which is to be undertaken by NAPCO trainees nationwide, is still being forced to start tomorrow as we speak, even though trainees have been expressing their fears of moving around in the wake of COVID-19. And Kotoka Courage in Angloga says, we the people in Angloga district wants to know what government is doing for us to protect us in case this pandemic is detected among them here. Charles Little says, Evans, I'm still worried about the number of flights coming into Ghana. Can the government do something about it? There was a directive from the president. If there's a country that has more than 200 cases, they are not allowed to come into the country. So something has been done in that area. Blay in Kumasi says the president has done well by acting promptly on coronavirus by closing down schools. But what is he doing on road accidents in support of the Arrive Alive campaign? Engineer Wisdom in Danceman says, can you guys find out why the NIA still wants to continue their registration? My question is, why there's so much haste and couldn't this be done some other time? And there was an interesting question that was asked by my colleague Joseph Akabli. What do we need the card for in times like this? COVID-19 is here. What do you need a Ghana card and passport and all that? Because people are still messing up.
The NIA must simply follow the president's instructions.
Exactly.
I mean, they say they're going to not allow people beyond 25 minutes, 25 people to gather
at the same time.
But it's how are you going to implement that?
Yeah. Some of your messages that you've sent in.
But there's another question to me about buying.
Exactly. You say we should share. Now you got there, you grabbed 3 bottles of sanitizers at the same time.
But
when others were also in the queue to buy.
That exactly was the reason why I bought 3, because you
gave me one though.
I have family members. I have friends who don't have it. If you find it, you're gonna share. I mean, I say at home, water is the best thing. But if you're on the road, you definitely need sanitizer.
What masks and gloves? You didn't last the whole day.
No,
where's the mask?
No, I did it because you guys were panicking because I brought my face mask.
I have pictures I'll share on social media about Evans in the gloves and then the masks at the same time. What's in business, Benedict?
What's in business?
Business, sports business.
You know, akpeteshi is very nice.
Have you tasted akpeteshi?
You know that you got the akpeteshi.
Well,
he's not here.
It's not something. It's not. Just to be clear, anybody tells you akpeteshi drinking it will help you deal with coronavirus. It's telling an absolute fat lie.
Okay.
So forget about that. So you can definitely use it to wash your hands if you have to, because of the alcohol content in it. It's better if you don't have water.
So you don't have to drink it.
And you have akpeteshi. You can wash your hands, but don't drink it thinking that it's gonna.
It doesn't kill the virus in the throat.
Yeah, Benedict.
All right, so sports is also got to do with the coronavirus. And yesterday's directive from the president, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, means the Ghana League and all other leagues in the country have been put on hold. So what are the clubs doing or going to do in these trying times? That's the question I put to Asante Kotoko Communications Director Kennedy Bochanza.
As you see, the teams on this way to Kumasi, most definitely, once you get to Kumasi, we're actually monitoring the situation. Also doing a lot of consultations. Most hopefully from tomorrow, we will know the next line vaccine to take, whether or not to break the team or to keep the team at one place. So we're actually monitoring all the stations and doing the right consultations at the right time. The club will communicate actions to the general public.
All right, so Great Olympics have been declared winners of their protest against Mediama in respect of their matchday 12 game played at their compact. What it means is that Mediama now will drop to second with 27 points, a point separating them and Indiana Stars. And for Olympics, they've moved to 9th position with 20 points. Well, football and cricket activities in South Africa are being suspended as the country seeks to, minimize the impact of the coronavirus. And also, of course, a lot, to do with that. Any gatherings of football of 100 people or more are now banned, while all forms of cricket have now been terminated for a 60-day period. Emefa.
Thank you very much. Let's go to Agbogloshi, and some traders at the market are opting for the locally brewed gin, popularly known as Akpateshi, to disinfect their hands in the wake of the coronavirus spread. My colleague Mamiesi Yamiche Thompson has more in this report.
A cucumber seller demonstrates how she uses the Akpateshi to disinfect her hands. She pours a bit of the quarter-filled 500ml bottle into her palms and rubs till it fades into her skin. She trusts that this procedure has killed any virus and is ready to serve her customers. The Akpateshi serves the same purpose as the sanitizers for me. I am able to use it for a day or two, and it helps sanitize my hands while handling money and even shaking people as well. She's not the only one who has embraced this new style of protecting oneself from the spread of the coronavirus. Her colleagues have bought into the idea.
I use sanitizer and Akpateshi. They say Akpateshi. So this morning I use Akpateshi and sanitizer to wash my hands because of the alcohol.
The sanitizers have now become expensive. It used to be 2 cedis, but now it has become 8 cedis. And our alternative is to use the Akpateshi. Even though their new style hasn't been proven scientifically, it's a better alternative to the now expensive hand sanitizers. The 2 cedi bottle now sells at 8 cedis, and the 5 cedi bottle now sells at 12 cedis. This trader is very unhappy about the situation.
How many people can afford it now, especially the poor? Imagine a family of 2 or 4 children. How will they manage?
Well, of course, people are improvising. And I just quickly want to bring in the tips, health tips, brought to you by courtesy of Carex in collaboration with the Ghana Medical Association. What are the symptoms to look out for? Remember that it's a fever, you get tiredness, dry cough. Some patients may have aches and pains, nasal congestion, runny nose, sore throat, or diarrhea. Now, symptoms may take 2 to 10 days to show after the person has been infected and may begin mildly. Now, symptoms of COVID-19 are similar to the range of illness such as influenza. So having any of these symptoms does not necessarily mean that you have COVID-19. However, if you have these symptoms and have recently been to a country or area of concern or have been in close contact with someone confirmed with COVID-19, report to the hospital immediately. People with fever, cough, and difficulty breathing should seek medical attention immediately. Now, key thing to watch out is preventing the spread. It's spread from person to person by small droplets from an infected person. When an infected person coughs, sneezes, exhales, or talks, they may generate droplets containing the virus which settle on surrounding surfaces. People get infected by COVID-19 when they touch droplets on surfaces and then touch their eyes, nose, or mouth. People also get infected by directly breathing in droplets from person, and so that's why we say wash your hands regularly. Use running water and soap. If you can't find it, get hand sanitizer.
Well, and Anan Sakwa is up next with That's My Opinion, and preparation towards prevention is a topic you want to stay for that. I am Emefa Apawu, and I've been here with Mensah with NewsNite.